Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Melody, and this is Seasonal Designs and DIYs. Today I have 3 door hangers. Here are the items that you'll need to make. I start out with these flowers from Dollar Tree. I'm just going to pull them apart and cut them off of the stem. I have the burner covers. This is the large one. You get 2 in a pack from the Dollar Tree. Home sign. Little wood sign is from Hobby Lobby. And my white, I believe this is gingham. White and purple. Gingham is from Wish. I start out just by painting the top of my burner cover. When I laid the gingham fabric over, it's very thin and you could see right through. And then I'm just going to take my hair dryer and dry it. Once that's dry, I'm taking this Mod Podge from Hobby Lobby. This is the fabric Mod Podge. Gonna give it a good coat, making sure to get around all of the edges of my burner cover. And I'm just gonna take my fabric and make sure all the wrinkles are out, smoothing it out with my hands, trying to make sure not to distort the fabric so all of my lines stay straight, pushing it down around the edges. And then I'm gonna dry that with my blow dryer. Once that's dry, I'm going to take another coat of that same Mod Podge and put it over the top and dry it with my blow dryer. Then I'm just going to take my scissors and at an angle, I'm going to cut all of the excess fabric away from the edges. I have these half beads. These are 15mm half beads I got off of Amazon. And my super glue gel. I'm just going to put those all around the outside along the lip. Here I'm just making sure that my spacing is correct for the last few so I can make it look as uniform as possible. That's why I like the gel super glue. You have a little bit of time to move your beads around or whatever. And I was just checking for placement there. I'm going to take all of my flowers and leaves off of the stem. I'm going to cut my leaves apart. I'm just playing with them, seeing how I want to lay them. It's better for me if I cut them all apart. And then I decide I want to put my bow on first. So I'm not a very good bow maker. I can't even explain it. I just loop it back and forth a couple times to where I have 2 loops on each side. Fold it in half to try to center it, and then tie a knot with my twine. And I'm going to wrap it around the center a couple times and tie it again. And then I'm going to cut off my tails. If you like my videos, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you're notified every time I upload a new video. It really helps support my channel on YouTube. And I'm just taking these little flowers, cutting them off the stem and just laying them, seeing how I want to do everything. And then I decide I'm going to adhere my word home first. And I left this home natural. I like the dark edges of the wood and the natural wood on the front. It matched my half beads. And I picked this yellow ribbon because I thought that it matched the yellow in the center of these purple flowers. And I'm just using hot glue. To adhere these onto my sign. I did notice that the hot glue really takes well to the Mod Podge that's on that fabric. And then I had this greenery from the Dollar Tree, and I cut the ends off just because I needed something a little more. So I just glued one little pick on each side, or either side. And then I just continue to cut and glue my flowers and greenery all around my ribbon, just until I'm happy with the way that it looks. And this sign is very customizable. You could use any color fabric or any color flowers. You can paint this just to make it to go with your home decor. I decided that these purple flowers just weren't enough, so I got these wild flowers from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just gonna stick them in and see where I think that I'll like them. And I decided I would like it better if I cut them apart as well and place them individually. I'm just filling in the top now with the green leaves that I had left over, just to make it more full. Fluffing up my bow. I think this is adorable. I'm just going to take some jute twine now and tie a knot in each end, and then I'm going to use my hot glue and masking tape to adhere it to the back of this sign. I got this trick from Holly at Hot Humble Pie. If you have not visited her website, or her YouTube channel, I mean, please go visit her. She has some fantastic ideas and crafts. I will try to link her channel down below in my description box. I am new at YouTube, and Not sure quite how to do that, but I will definitely give it a try. And that's it for this sign. These are the supplies you need for the next one. I'm using fabric from the Dollar Tree. This bicycle and sunflower pattern here. And I'm just folding it and figuring out where I need to cut it. I did measure off on my sign where I wanted the home word to go. This is a very large home word from the Dollar Tree, and going with that same fabric Mod Podge. And you can tape off your lines. I knew that I was going to be using a burlap trim, so I knew mine didn't have to be exact, but if you're not going to put a trim on yours, you can definitely use a piece of masking tape and tape off anything that you want to paint. After I put down my first layer of Mod Podge and lay my fabric and get it smooth, I'm going to go ahead and just put my second coat on. While that's drying, I'm going to use my chalk paint by Waverly in Mineral. And this is kind of a grayish brown color, and I thought it went very well with the bicycles in this fabric. And once again, I'm not going to tape that off. I knew that I was going to put that trim there. And I'm just going to give this one pretty good coat. You could still see the wood grain through, and I really like that look. I do that on a lot of my projects. And then I was going to try to fill these holes in. It didn't work out. I cut it out of the video, but I'll show you what I ended up doing. Then I'm going to use my hairdryer and blow dry the fabric and the paint. And then I'm going to take my scissors once again and cut at an angle in toward the wood. And you can get really, really close. A lot of people use X-Acto knives to cut away their excess fabric, but I find that the scissors work really well for me, and I can get really close. This is the burlap trim. I apologize, I don't think I showed that in the beginning, but it's also from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just taking my hot glue and doing little sections at a time until I get it all the way across. And then once again taking my scissors and trimming the excess away. Then I'm going to take my home sign and my super glue gel and adhere that to the sign. This is where I try to fix the holes. So I take my white Waverly chalk paint and I fill the hole with a very tiny detail brush. And then once I do that, then I take this silver by Folk Art, sterling silver, and then I go over top of the white paint inside the holes. This worked out fairly well to camouflage those holes. And then I'm just going to clean up the word and taking my little candle lighter and burning off the excess stuff from that burlap trim. Once again, I'm going to take my jute twine, tie a couple knots in the ends, and then take my masking tape and go over it. Then I have these two ribbons. Both of these ribbons are from Dollar Tree. My first bow, I wasn't real happy with, so I decided that I was going to try to make a different bow. So the wider ribbon in cream, I cut longer. I cut two of those, and I just loop them around and make circles with them. And then this beautiful brown ribbon, it's trimmed in gold, also from the Dollar Tree. I make three. I actually make four, but I only use three. And then I'm just playing with it, seeing my placement. And initially I was going to use some burlap twine, or sorry, not burlap, but jute twine to tie in the center. But then I just decided that I was going to glue them down, and I'm just going through all my buttons, trying to find a button that correspond with the ribbon. So then here you see, I'm just going to start gluing my loops down to my sign and down to each other. I'm going to do this with all of my ribbons, or ribbon loops. And then once I have all of those down, I take this button and I just glue it right into the center. Then I decided I needed some greenery. So I got some of this little greenery from the Dollar Tree. It looks like a small boxwood. I'm not real sure what it is called. And I hot glue just about 3 little pieces on each side, either side of my bow. And then I'm just taking the flame to it to melt any of the hot glue strands that were hanging. This little end kept kind of coming up, so just took the smallest amount of hot glue and glued that down. And now I'm just cleaning up around that ribbon. That's it for this one. This is the third project and my favorite one of today. I found this sunflower fabric at the Dollar Tree. You'll have to excuse my clothing today. As you can see, I went canoeing and got very sunburnt, and this sundress was the only thing that actually didn't hurt. So anyways, I found this fabric at the Dollar Tree. It's these beautiful sunflowers. So I'm just measuring off my wood round. I get these wood rounds off of Amazon, and I will also try to link those in my description box. Sorry, this one I miscalculated on the first time, so it's taken me just a little bit longer to get this one down. But I leave about a 3 or 4 inch space there for my welcome sign. That also is a welcome sign. It's a metal welcome sign from the Dollar Tree. And I'm going to take my Waverly chalk paint and ink, and I'm just going to pounce on top of this. When you dab on top of these metal signs, it almost resembles like a cast iron if you're using that ink chalk paint. It has a very nice outcome. So then I'm taking my white Waverly chalk paint, and I'm just going to give this center a really good coat, just one coat. Has anyone else ever noticed that your Waverly chalk paint dries out? Mine does it all the time. Let me know in my comments if yours does this. I end up having to add water to all of my Waverly chalk paints. And once again, like I said, you can use masking tape, painter's tape, tape this off. I just try to be careful when I'm going down my edges, but once again, I'm going to be using that same burlap, well, not the same burlap trim, but a burlap trim from that. There's 3 different kinds in the pack that I get from Dollar Tree. So I knew that it didn't have to be exact. Once I get that painted, I'm going to take this, it's an orangey yellow paint. It's also from Dollar Tree. It's an acrylic paint. These are very thin paints. Once again, when I painted this, I did one coat and you could see it. It almost works like a stain. It's a little darker than a stain, but it gave me a lot of variations in my paint, and you could still see that wood grain through. And I was very pleased on how this turned out. I'm using my blow dryer to dry. I haven't invested in a heat gun yet. My blow dryer works fine. Sorry, I didn't realize I was going to let you watch all of it. There's that, I was showing you the acrylic paint by Crafter's Square that I'm using. And once again, using the same Mod Podge that I've been using throughout the whole video to work with the fabrics. I'm just going to cover the bottom of the sign. And then wait till you see this fabric. It is absolutely gorgeous. Look at those sunflowers. It is so vibrant. And then I'm just going to do a rough cut around the edges. Smooth it all out. Make sure I get all of my edges very good. And on this one, I'm going to go ahead and go around with my scissors at an angle and cut all of the excess fabric off. And then I'm going to go back in with a pretty heavy coat of this Mod Podge for fabric. Using my blow dryer to dry the Mod Podge. Oh yeah, that's okay. So I thought that I was going to use one of those other burlap ribbons from the Dollar Tree and decided to use the same brown ribbon that I used on the previous project. I liked it so much. But when I was holding up the black welcome sign, I thought maybe this, oh, what is that called? I don't even know what it's called, but that checkered ribbon, farmhouse ribbon from the Dollar Tree, but decided against it. Liked the brown one better, but I didn't like the black sign with it, or the black words. So I took the metallic gold from Folk Art and just dabbed it on top of the black. And I really like the way this one turned out. I'm just using my blow dryer once again, just to dry my word. Okay, so I'm going to take this ribbon and I start out by trying to use hot glue. That didn't work out. So I ended up having to use my super glue gel, which worked out fabulous. It doesn't leave any bumps on the underneath side. I know if you've hot glued ribbon, you know what I'm talking about. So I just go right on the top and the bottom of my white section because I wanted to make sure to leave enough room for the welcome word on there. Trim it off with my scissors. Then I use my Crazy Glue gel once again to adhere my metal sign. We all know that hot glue does not work very well with metal. And as I'm holding this down, you'll see I pull up the paint from the E. So I take my finger into the gold and I'm trying to fix it. I had to pull the black paint back out, and then I had to pull the gold paint back out and then fix that where it pulled that paint back up. And I'm just cleaning. The Crazy Glue gel is great to work with. It doesn't dry immediately. So what you see is I'm just taking my Cricut tool and going around the letters and pulling anything that squished out the sides and just wiping it away, or picking it away and wiping off my Cricut tool there. Then I'm going to take some jute twine once again, hot glue, masking tape. This one was a little big for circle, cut in half. Still works great. Something happens, and Holly from Hot Humble Pie will explain it a lot better than me, but something happens to that masking tape when you mix it with the hot glue, and it does not come off. Then I'm just taking these sunflowers that I got from the Dollar Tree. I'm cutting everything off the back. And then I'm going to place 3 of them at the top of this sign. And then I'm going to fill the rest in with the leaves off of that pick. Once again, I just cut them apart. If you hear my little fur babies in the background, they're just back there playing, so they like to come in here when I'm crafting. I'm just taking the last few leaves and I'm actually tucking them back behind the flowers. My flowers were a little high on my sign, which I like from the front, but you could see a little bit of that plastic green from the back, and I didn't care for that, so I'm just covering that up. And I absolutely love the way this sign turns out. And there's this one. Thank you for watching my video. Please like, subscribe, and hit that bell for me.